It is the Tennessee Titans. Day 2 of their training camp has kicked off, or what was yesterday. Well, today, it's going to be weird getting into this. Their training camp is underway, though. They spent a whole lot of time working in individual drills on Thursday, a lot of walkthroughs, part of the acclimation period at the start of camp. Things are expected to get more intense in the coming days. And I want to note something here. There's a lot of players rehabbing in Tennessee. There's a lot of players coming back from injury. You got Robert Woods. You got Caleb Farley. You got Treylon Burks trying to figure out what the hell he's doing. But Robert Woods without the knee brace, Caleb Farley doing a lot of drills, looking good during camp. Things are on the rise for the Tennessee Titans in terms of health. But, Aaron, I'm going to start with you here. This offense last year kind of had some hits, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. It felt like a roller coaster with the Tennessee Titans. They somehow found ways to win, but their offense was just meh, I feel like. What does the offense need to look like this year, and especially in training camp, to be more than just meh?
It boils down to Ryan Tannehill. You look at when they've been most productive, when they've been kind of clicking on all the cylinders. It was in 2020 and 2019 when he took over, going 7-3 and then 11-5 the following year. A guy that wasn't turning the ball over, a guy that was throwing touchdown passes, that was efficient, completing 70% of his passes. Like, they need that Ryan Tannehill, a guy that's making plays, even a guy that's getting out of the backfield and scrambling a little bit more. We didn't see that last year. I think this year, Ryan Tannehill needs to get back to that form, or that offense is in trouble again. 2 years in a row, he threw almost 30 touchdowns one year, 33 touchdowns another year, 6 and 7 interceptions respectively. And then last year, he throws 21 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. Those ratios aren't going to cut it for that offense. They don't have enough playmakers on the outside to overcome Ryan Tannehill turning the football over. They don't have enough weapons outside of a Derrick Henry. We're looking for a Treylon Burks to come in and have an impact. We're hoping Robert Woods can come back from an ACL injury. We're not even sure who those 3, 4, and 5 guys are. You get Austin Hooper now in the mix. That should help you over the middle. But the older Derrick Henry gets, the more Ryan Tannehill has to do, right? We can't continue to put that on Derrick Henry to carry that offense. It's going to be him getting back to form like he was 2 years ago and making big plays for them.
Well, they had Ric Flair come out, so that helps.
Hey, my boy, Torrey Carter, who we did a training camp thing on, or a camp has the videos with them posted of all things. They're just like, woo! And I'm like,
oh, that's awesome.
Ric Flair is like 150 years old.
Yeah. He's wrestling. He's wrestling on Saturday.
Yeah,
he is wrestling on Saturday.
He's like in his 70s, right?
So you'll get this. He's actually wrestling Jeff Jarrett, Double J. Wow. Jeff Jarrett. Yeah.
Okay,
so that's the thing. It's tag match.
Okay, go ahead.
There's
I was
two.
Is he bringing the freaking guitar?
Whoa. He will probably bring the guitar, yes. So it's like Jeff Jarrett's doing double duty. He's actually the special guest referee at SummerSlam too. It's a wild time in the wrestling world. But
either one of them the dolls old.
Behind you? That none of them are the dolls behind me. Nope, none of them are the dolls.
73 years old.
Yeah, so I say he's in the 70s.
73 years young is the proper term. But AJ, I'm going to go to you next on this last, and this is on the opposite spectrum, opposite side of the spectrum for Ric Flair. It's going from one old geezer to the youngin in Malik Willis, his first training camp with the Tennessee Titans. What do you want to see from Malik Willis in his first year of camp?
In a way, Malik Willis kind of has it a little easier than some of the other rookie quarterbacks that came into the league, because I don't think they have the intention of putting him in until Ryan Tannehill really shows either one, he's injured or he can't get it done. I want to see Malik Willis learn the system. I want to see him come along. The talent's not a question. A guy who put up 27 touchdowns through the air, almost 1,000 yards rushing, another 13 touchdowns on the ground. It's about, can you learn this offense? Can you understand what the defense is going to be giving you when you're sitting on the sidelines and watching? There's 2 people you are competing with if you're Malik Willis, Logan Woodside and yourself. Because if they beat out Logan Woodside, that's a roster spot for somebody else. If you and you're focused on what you can do to learn this system and bring this team along and gain the respect of your guys in the locker room, then you're in a good spot. If you end up being number 3, you're just kind of wasting another spot, because I do believe they will roster him if they also think that Logan Woodside is the actual backup. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think he will take the number 2 spot, and then that Logan Woodside hits that practice squad, and they get somebody else that they can fill that in. But as far as it goes, let me see your mechanics. Let me see you learn that. Let me see you get better with your accuracy. Don't worry so much about the talent. It's already there. You need to learn the game of the NFL.
I heard Logan Woodside's name too much there for my
Listen,
probably spin a ball.
I'm gonna be honest. I am very, very worried for Malik Willis. He's not going to start in Tennessee for at least 2 seasons. He's not starting this year, and he's not starting next year, barring some injury to Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill's making way too much money for them just to put him on the bench. I think they look at Malik Willis as a project. And I've seen this too many times in the NFL. When you're not drafted high, like if he was drafted as a high draft pick, I know he gets the opportunity. When you're not drafted high, you don't always get that shot if you're not developing. And with the limited reps he's going to get in practice, once training camp's over, Malik Willis is not taking snaps. He's not going to take snaps during the regular season. He's not taking snaps in practice because they have to give those reps to Ryan Tannehill, which means he can only learn by soaking in knowledge from Ryan Tannehill. And I'm sorry, Tannehill is an okay NFL quarterback. That's not the best guy that I want to soak up my knowledge from because he's not that great of a passer himself. So I worry that Malik Willis is going to get lost in the shuffle here. I really do. I liked the spot initially where he went. I'm like, oh, he might have a chance to play. But then I'm thinking, they're not benching Ryan Tannehill. They've been too successful with him, making AFC title games and going in the playoffs and number 1 seed. And then they're going to let his contract play out because they don't want to bench him and pay him. So it's after next year. By that time, if Malik Willis hasn't taken a jump, you're either saying, okay, we're starting from scratch with him, or there's somebody else that's come along that you might be able to just put in and that's already grabbed those reins or had somebody else come in and perform better. So I worry he gets lost in the shuffle in Tennessee. I've seen this before. He could end up being one of those backups that never play in his first location and needs an opportunity somewhere else in order to get a chance to be an actual starter in this league.
Who's to say this isn't a Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts situation? But you'd probably need an injury to Tannehill.
The difference was Carson Wentz had already had friction in Philly. You know what I mean? So the Nick Foles situation that happened in Philly caused Carson Wentz and, that organization to kind of start butting heads. I don't think you ever have that situation if Carson Wentz wasn't complaining about that. So that's the difference where Ryan Tannehill has had nothing but good relationship with Tennessee. And let's be honest, he's performed good enough to win the division, be an AFC number 1 seed in the AFC, get to win playoff games. I think this is more about Malik Willis being a project. I think a heavier project than maybe we anticipated because he fell in that draft, went from almost first round pick, we thought, to just fall and fall and fall. And then we're like, okay, why are teams passing up on him? I think teams see him as a project.
He might come in there, and that's the thing. Like, that's why I don't think you worry about a Ryan Tannehill if you're Malik Willis this year. That's my point. You're in training camp to learn this offense and make sure that you are the guy that they think about when the time comes. The training camp battle they have said is pretty clear. Like, Logan Woodside has been there. He knows it. They may choose him over Malik Willis.
I doubt
it, as I said. Exactly.
But that's a scary statement when you draft a quarterback like that was praised like Malik Willis was, that when you come in, Logan Woodside is already got an upper hand on you. And I'm be honest, I don't know nothing about Logan Woodside.
Not a
Do
thing.
you guys?
Not a thing. I know that. I know they were like, he knows the system a little bit, so let's see if Malik Willis can dethrone him. And that's that's where they were sitting at. It's young though. You're talking about a guy who's come in rookie mini camp and they've looked at the talent. That's the first thing. You drafted him for the talent. Now let's come in and see what he can do live. And he's made the throws. He's made the athletic mobility and the movement, so on and so forth. Now it's where's your mentality? Now it's how do you learn the game? Now you're in training camp and now it's become a little bit more real. The talent has to be set aside. We know that's there.
I can't wait till the preseason games.
Yeah,
I can't wait to watch him play in the preseason game.
Can the talent? Do you think the talent can just win out to enough to a point? Not a Ryan Tannehill point. I don't think that's.
I know what you mean. It can. But not having NFL experience and being raw is hard, man.
Yeah.
And those guys, I don't want to compare the two, but I equate that. Like, I was a big Kellen Mond fan, and then I watched him play and play a little bit. And I'm like, dude, this dude doesn't look like an NFL quarterback right now. Sometimes it can be so overwhelming from guys that come from, like a Malik Willis has come from, didn't play the greatest talent, hasn't seen certain things. Even if you have the tools, I worry, man. I'm going to be eager to watch him that first preseason game, see what he looks like, because you'll know if like, okay, he's going to win that number 2 job based on, like you said, pure talent alone.
Logan Woodside made Deontay Johnson look good in college, or vice versa.
Well, we see
one of
receiver. We see what one of them is doing in the league right now, and we see what the other is. So that'll tell you there. I forgot to drop this graphic to start the show before we really got into this, but I have something very special for the three of you in terms of a graphic. Last year I did these more often, and I haven't done it enough this year, although training camp did just start. But it's the training camp stats, okay? This is the stats that you need in life. These are your quarterback stats right here. Ryan Tannehill, man, 11 for 11 so far in training camp. He's doing hot, red hot. All right.
Camp stats, I love them.
You honestly just took our great show that's going to the moon, that is taking all.
Oh,
no. Hey, I have controls too. We all have control of this. You're degrading our show by actually taking the time to make a graphic.
Wait. I'm degrading the show, and we're bringing up Logan fucking Woodside.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay. Logan Woodside is an NFL player. Nobody cared that Trevor Lawrence stood back there with no defense and threw the ball 18 times and played catch with his receivers.
Yeah,
you care about Brady's bad throw.
That isn't including his red. Hold on, that isn't including Trevor Lawrence's terrible red zone efficiency today in camp. I
brought up Tom Brady, Dylan. The only reason I brought up Tom Brady is because I knew we were running out of time on morning headlines, and I knew it would be a laughable moment, and so we could get through the segment quicker. That's called being a professional.